Why did God take avatar only in India? Why not in other countries or continents?
Now, we are assuming here that he arrives in India because we don't know. They don't often specify, and many times all the action in the avatar stories happen on very many levels. Some of them happen entirely in the ocean, some of them happen on the heavenly plane, some of them on the earthly plane, some of them happen in Patala where the Asuras live. So action happens on all of the planes. And remember in the Varaha avatar where the boar, where Vishnu takes the form of a boar, then why is he here? To save Prithvi from her troubles. The whole earth, the whole earth is lifted up by Varaha from the bottom of the ocean where she has sunk. Right? So it's not really limited to a country or a particular space. Although, if you find familiar landmarks in the retellings of these stories, that's probably because the people who composed these stories lived here and therefore they wrote about what was familiar and sacred in their knowledge, to their knowledge. Okay, so that is why it seems as if the avatars were born in India, only descended to India. The other thing to remember is that there was no concept of India until the British actually left us. This was just a sacred geography, and there was no name called India. And the other thing was, if at all it had a name, it was called Bharat, and this was name. And what does Bharat mean? The land immersed in light, in the light of wisdom. So because there were so many wise people here, this land was given the name of Bharat. And if it was such a wise place and so full of light, then clearly that's why the gods chose to come here if they did. So so these are just, I'm not being irreverent, but I'm just giving you some of the reasons why it might seem to us when we read about the avatars that they all landed up here. But actually they're very universal stories. And what makes them universal and what makes them believable is that we see this happening even today. That gods, or at least superhuman beings, taking on human form, it feels like, to solve problems that exist, to solve intractable problems that seem like they will never be solved. Whenever we are in deep gloom and deep depression, and either there is a tyrant ruling us like Hitler, or something, some terrible natural disaster is happening, somehow after a point things get reversed. Somebody comes along with a great idea, with great moral courage, with great power and strength to change the equation and restore order, just like Krishna promises Arjuna in the Gita. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I will return in age after age. Whenever there is too much adharma, whenever the evil seems to have taken over the world, do not worry, Arjuna, I will return. I will return to restore order, to destroy the evil and protect the good. And we see that happening a lot, all the time, not just in India, but in every other country in the world. And that's what gives us reassurance, and that's what gives us the strength to live our lives.